Welcome to Walking in Faith. What you can expect to find on this channel is sound doctrine rooted in the basic teachings of Christ. So what is my purpose in making this channel? I've seen that the world is full of confusion, vanity, hypocrisy, and every other imaginable evil. Unfortunately, religion and churches are often not exceptions to these faults. Churches should be salt and light to the world. But often as charlatans and self-promoters creep into the clergy, and as the zeal of the laity wanes, the temperature of the church cools to that of the world, the light becomes dim, and the salt loses its flavor. False doctrines that tickle men's ears creep in, often displacing the fundamental sound teachings found in the Gospels. Such doctrines distract and lead many astray. However, we should not be surprised that this is so. And had we done our homework, we might not be. In the very words of Jesus found in the Gospels, we are warned of wolves in sheep's clothing and false prophets. We are even told of Jesus, "Not all that say unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom, but those who do the will of my Father." The epistles also warn us of a multitude of deceivers that would come and lead people away from sound teachings. So we really shouldn't be surprised when we see shady televangelists taking advantage of their flock for financial gain. We shouldn't be shocked when clergymen are found to be involved in sex scandals or child abuse scandals. We shouldn't be surprised when sound doctrine becomes replaced by showmanship and entertainment at the pulpit. And while it is easy to point out the faults in the clergymen, we should not ignore what is often observed in the laity either. For many lay people, church has become a place they go merely out of ritual or habit, or to appease the more religious members of their family. But it has little bearing on how they live their lives the rest of the time. Many have even been brought up alien to the fact that you do not go to church, you are the church. The building you go to on the weekend is just a meeting place so that you can have fellowship with other believers. But that brick and mortar building should not be confused with the real body of believers that is the actual church. Likewise, making a habit of showing up at that building once a week or a few times a year should not be confused with being a good Christian outside the four walls of the church building. The soul-searching question one might ask themselves is, how do I measure up? Am I a good Christian, or am I merely going through the motions a few times a year? Is Christ truly reflected in how I live my life? Am I on the right path, or have I become distracted with the cares and vanities of this world? The first few times I read the Gospels, I remember reading Christ's warning in Matthew 7, starting with verse 21. "Not everyone who says unto me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. Many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name? And in your name drive out demons, and in your name perform many miracles? Then I will tell them plainly, I never knew you. Away from me, you evildoers." So I remember reading this and finding that pretty unnerving. We might be going about our life believing we are on the path, only to find out on Judgment Day Christ never knew us, and maybe we never knew him. So how can we be reasonably sure that we are actually walking the walk and not just deceiving ourselves? Thankfully, I kept reading, because in the next few verses he sheds light on this subject. "Not everyone who says unto me, Lord, Lord, will enter into the kingdom of heaven, but only he who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. Many will say unto me that day, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name? And in your name drive out demons, and in your name perform many miracles? Then I will tell them plainly, I never knew you. Away from me, you evildoers. Therefore, anyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, the winds blew, and beat against that house. Yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock. But whoever hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. The rain came, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash." And that's how Jesus ends the Sermon on the Mount. In the book of Matthew, that's Matthew chapter 5 through 7. So if you want to know more about building your house on the rock, that would be a good place to start. Do you know these teachings? Do they have any bearing on your life? And that brings me back to my purpose for making these videos. It's to explore these teachings in detail, hoping to help people understand them and build their own houses on the rock. If that is something that appeals to you, my playlist link below will take you to a series of videos, each focused on various teachings of Christ. More videos will be added to this playlist periodically, so if you like these, subscribe to stay alerted to new videos in this series. Thank you for viewing, leave a comment, and don't forget to like and share if you found this helpful.